YouTuber. Hey, YouTubers, this is Patricia, and I'm the red-haired heathen. I cannot talk today. I'm not going to redo this for the 14th time, so sorry. Today is the day to talk about books. I've had a lot of people asking me about what books should I read and everything. And if you were a beginner, let's start at the beginning. Instead of going headlong into how to be a heathen or what to be a heathen or whatever, what flavor heathen, Asatru, whatever, I suggest reading the Eddas first. These are the poetic Eddas. They are the mythological uh, stories that have been handed down. Snorri Sturluson was one of the people that helped preserve these. There's several other people that did during the Icelandic times. Um, we are very fortunate that they did. We have to also, though, accept that they were written down during Christian times. So to maybe get around um, the issues about talking about pagan themes. They may have tweaked certain things that after you've read them for a while, you kind of known if they've been what's been tweaked. You can kind of go beyond that. But really good books to learn off of, or at least what I started, was one by Henry Adams Bellows, the translation of the Poetic Edda, the mythological sagas. And this is not a hugely expensive book. It's about $7, $8, $9.95. I apologize because my yeah, okay, there it goes. My camera got bumped by my cat as I was doing this. So this is a really good book. It shows you the Eddas and it goes the regular cadence of the poems because they are. It also gives you some really good footnotes on the bottom. So, like on the Velospo, if you can see it, all that writing below, that's footnotes. That actually helps you to interpret what the heck it's saying in the poems because they did kennings. Kennings were is a term for where they would use a different name for something else. One was Grimsol, which is actually Odin. Grimner, Odin. Um, Several different names. Asa Thor, which is Thor. So just different names. So it helps you to know, okay, this means Odin, or this means this, or this means that. It's really good. I enjoy it. Some people have a problem getting around the cadence of how it's done. Others don't. They happen to like it. It's also a really good one to start out with because you can get this online. It is, I think it's gone up to $10.95 now. But also, you can find his translation online at sacredtext.com. And they have different texts from uh, different religions and mythologies and things. So that one's a good one. It's free. You can actually look it online, sacredtext.com. I don't believe it has the footnotes though, but it's a good way to get going and it's free. Uh, and this was another caveat to Henry Hans Bellows. This was originally printed in 1924 or 23, so it's a little older, but it's not as old as some of the other translations that are out there. So it's a good one to start out with, and if it's not your cup of tea, there's other translations out there, believe me. There's Lee M. Hollander has a translation of the Mythological Eddas. I've used that before. It's very good. A lot of people like that one. I like it, but I miss some of the nuances that Bellows has. And so a lot of times I'll still go back to Bellows, but that's my personal favorite. It doesn't mean that's going to be your personal favorite if you read these. Another version is by Caroline Larrington, and she translated this in 1996. I don't think you can really see the book, but it is the Poetic Edda. It's out there. It is published by Oxford University. It's a little more expensive. It's about $17 to $20. Again, you can probably find this in your used bookstore. Many of these are used for different classes in universities. Especially if you're in the Pacific Northwest and you're around PLU, they have a Scandinavian study. So, yeah. But again, if you go to used bookstores, I love. I'm a cheap person, so I like going to bookstores. If you can't find it, Amazon's have got them. In fact, a lot of my replacement books, because I moved them recently, are from Amazon. So another book, you're saying, okay, fine, I've read the Eddas, I'm still interested, but what the hell is Asatru? What's the hell's heathenry? Well, I have one that uh, earlier I was trying to record this. I totally went blank on. I'll have to admit. It's called Essential Asatru, and before I hear a lot of hate mail, it is a very, very basic, and it's put out by Diana Paxton and the late Bonewitz, Isaac Bonewitz, who was well known in the group The Troth. And that is another heathen Asatru group that's nationwide. And they got some really good stuff. Um, I liked it because it was very basic. It gave people an idea of what other people do in Asatru. And one of the things I liked about it is it was not pretentious. It was just okay. It gives you a scenario of what they did, and then they go into kind of explaining it. And for somebody who's on the fence, they don't know what the hell's going on. That's a good basic, something basic. And if you're not around a lot of people who are heathen or Asatru, and it's some place to start at least. So it's one of those things. Um, Once you've done that and you're kind of looking around, and let's say you're still looking for people, you're looking for people, and I found out the Asatru in my area, there's a lot of heathens, a lot of Asatrar, but they're very conservative as far as being out there. I totally understand about that. There's been some really weird stuff going on in other fringe groups that really make other people uncomfortable, and totally understand that. I'm one of those that's like, I'm too old. I'm 50. Guys, I'm 52. I don't care anymore. I am what I am, and there we go. Anyway, so getting on with books. If you're still curious and you want to read more, and you're one of these that you got to read everything, I'll give you some suggestions. I was like that too, and I've read a lot, and now as I got older, I'm going through. I've reread some of the stuff I read. And went, ooh, that's interesting. I don't remember that, but okay, I may not agree with it, but it gives me an idea what other people do. A good group. They're more universalists than folkish, and if you're new, you'll get into that later on, and that's another can of worms. So one of the groups I like, the Troth, they actually published books. So they have these books are Troth, and the first volume one is History and Lore. The second one is Living the Troth, or Living Heathenry, and they're really good. They're very done well. They're researched. In fact, if I remember right, I'm looking at them right now because it's been a while since I read them. But they have in the back, which being a reading person, a history archaeological nerd, they have the book hoard, and it has all the books that they researched making these, and so they're good. Now, like everything, there's a caveat to that. You may agree or disagree what's in the books, and you may not like. Let's say you're more focused, you not necessarily comfortable. I don't care if you got the time, read it. It may give you some information. It's just like Folkish publications. They have some information. Whether I agree or disagree, I guess I'm a universalist. I can never figure it out. Read it. If you don't like it, don't read it again. Don't use their suggestions. That's how I consider it. Okay, so we've read. Let's say this. There is Stephen McNallen has stuff. Aaron Lane has a book on. Aaron Lale, excuse me, has a book on Asatru for beginners. I have not read that one, so I cannot say yes or no. But again, That's another book. That's another book to take a look at and see how is it. If you've ever read it, let me know below in the comments. Um, Now we are getting into history. So to me, it's very important to read the history of what you're worshiping, because we are Asatru and heathenry is a reconstructionist religion. It's not unbroken. So we are having to go back in time and try to reconstruct how our ancestors worshipped. And um, sometimes that's great. Sometimes you kind of have to use your personal gnosis. And one moment while I take a quick